Hello everyone and welcome to Werven's World. Today I would like to talk about outer starbases. So we've already talked a bit about our inner starbase, how you can optimize it and all that kind of stuff. But you can actually also make outer starbases, and if you link them to your colonies that are on a planet, then they don't cost you any stellar credits. You can also make them anywhere else in space. If you don't link them to a colony, they will cost you stellar credits every month. And the nice thing about a starbase is especially that you can have a shipyard on it. So if you are a ship producer and you have your inner starbase plus, for example, 3 outer starbases, you have 4 shipyards to produce parts in. Unfortunately, you can't put a research lab there, so you can only have 1 research lab per account. But you can put a lot of modules in there, like graphene factories and all those kind of things. And there's actually a lot of space to build those modules. But in general, they're a bit less efficient than in the inner starbase. So it's up to you if you really want to use it to boost your production or not. So how do you make one? Well, it's actually not that hard, but you can mess it up, which I did my first time. And luckily I had the help of especially players called Avij and Phantom who solved some problems for me. So a nice shout out to them. So let's start. Basically, you can link a starbase to your own colony. So if I go here, my colony is called A Nice Place. So I can go there. Oh, something's happening. All right. So now we are looking at my colony, A Nice Place over there. So if you want to make a starbase, you can basically say gg.planstarbase, plan starbase, but you have to do it 200 kilometers outside of the planet. And as you can see here, I am only 100 kilometers outside of the planet. So I have to go up. So I'm just going to follow my stock market line, because this green beam comes from my stock market. So this one indicates pretty well what is above my colony. Having some lag problems, or not lag, my computer is not coping at the moment. So as long as you have a gravity measurement here, then you're still inside the planet in a sense, in its sphere of atmosphere. Sphere of influence, sorry. So that's where you can build the starbase. So let's see where I am now. I should still be fairly close to my colony. I'm just going to try. Be sure you stand still, and that's what I did wrong the first time I did it. So let's see if this works now. GG plan starbase. You're too close to the nearest celestial object. Okay, then we just go a bit further. That's not straight. So last time I was just hitting a GG plan starbase while flying up until it worked, and that gave me some troubles, and I'll explain you in a bit why. So maybe this. So the moment you put your starbase down will be the 0 coordinate of your starbase, and you really want to build there. There we go. Starbase planned, linked to A Nice Place. So now I have a starbase, but as you can see, there is absolutely nothing here. And the thing is, your starbase is basically should be, in a sense, a 200 by 200 by 200 square. However, it's as you can see here, it's more like an eighth of a sphere. So while the first sides are actually 200 squares, it then rounds off. And you're not allowed to build a negative space. So you have here these 3 coordinates, 0, 0, 0. If any of those are negative, you cannot build there. So you can only build in positive space, and 0.0.0 counts as positive space, and that's where we are going to build our shipyard. So I can build my shipyard and then place, and then it plans it exactly where I am basically. So That's really good. My biggest problem that I was talking about is that I was basically flying up and up and up and up, and then I planned my starbase, but I couldn't find my 0.0.0 point anymore, and it took a lot of flying and the help of player Avish to use as a reference point in order to really find my 0.0.0 coordinate. So now, if you only use the command when you stand still, you won't run into that problem. Okay, now we've planned this thing, but there's another tip that I got from some players, is that then you can fly one square off, doesn't matter really which direction as long as it's not into negative space, 0.0.0, 1.0.0, there, that's still positive space. Here we are going to plan, 0.0.1, I don't want that, I want 0.1.0.0, there, yes. So it can be a bit of fiddling with flying around, because the grav anchor doesn't decelerate you immediately. You're not going to have zero speed immediately, so be careful with that. So here we are going to put an entertainment complex. And the reason for that is, as you will see here on the radar, we can't really find our own starbase. But the entertainment complex seems to be the only thing that actually shows up in the radar. So it will be much easier to find your own starbase on the radar once you have an entertainment complex. And then there is a third thing you would like to build, and that is a warehouse. And the warehouse should be pretty close to the beginning, I would say, like to the shipyard, because a outer starbase doesn't have an open warehouse button, just like a colony. If you remember, in the inner starbase you have this open warehouse button, which is amazing, but in colonies and outer starbases that doesn't exist. So if you go here, let's see if we can go to 2.0.0. There we are. Then we can build a warehouse there. Starbase warehouse. There we go. Place. There. So now we've placed these things. We haven't supplied them with anything yet, so they're not really built yet. But now I actually have a starbase linked to my colony where I can produce other things, I can drop off things. You can't build a galactic market here, so at least at the moment you can't sell anything from your starbase. But you can produce a lot of stuff and haul from and to your colony and park a ship here. That would be really good to have. So if you produce a ship here in the shipyard, you can then dock your bigger ship here and take that smaller ship to go down and plan your colony, for example. So that would be one of the big pluses of a starbase. So at the moment, this starbase is just free for me because I linked it to a colony. So remember, if you would build it anywhere else than close to your colony, it would cost you startup credits every month. So these are the beginnings of a starbase, and I'll get into more detail at some point, but now at least you know how to build it. So with that, I would really like to thank the players that helped me figure out all this stuff, especially Phantom and Avish, and yeah, I hope you found it useful, and see you next time.